It's that time again. It's the War Room. Thank you so much to everyone who's come out to join us today. And yes, lock and load to everyone.
Lock and load.
But I have returned. I was away last week. It was kind of a last minute thing. I was
You
in
weren't missed. It's all right. You weren't missed.
I wasn't. That's right. So I was in a friend's wedding, and except the friend forgot to tell me that the wedding was that day until 2 days before. So it was a little bit of what? Okay, I can make it, I guess. But glad to be back, and welcome, Tony. Thank you so much for coming to join us.
No problem. I appreciate it. Ruff kind of said, "Hey, we might need you," and I said, "Okay, I'll clear my schedule." And that was like 3 weeks ago because that's about what I need to have a clear schedule nowadays. Is about 3 weeks in advance. So
How have you been, and what kind of games have you been playing lately?
While you're doing that, I'm just going to say hello. Get the peeps up on the channel while Tony's talking.
Oh, of course.
So, go.
Well, basically, I've been playing the 8th Air Force, which has been really cool by Fortress Games. I'm really having fun with that. Kind of got to the point where now I'll probably do AARs. The rest kind of like summaries of the turns. The gameplay doesn't change much at all. And if something does happen I'll probably do it because you add jets and things kind of move around in a little bit. So when that happens, but pretty sure I'll just do some AARs for the next so I can knock out some turns. It's like 24, 25 turns long, and I'm on turn 6, turn 7. So I'll probably do some AARs. Yeah. And then Ruff and me have been playing Panzer about every other Friday is what it seems to be calculating out to be, which I'm having a lot of fun. Camp's joining us and making sure we do most of the stuff right. We've got a few things that we got to keep an eye on, but it's all good. It's learning and everything like that. Having fun with that.
Camp is a great safety net. I feel much more confident, because especially if I go to do something, he goes, well, if you want my opinion, maybe. Yes.
And the answer always is yes. If you want my opinion, the answer is yes, I do want your opinion. So please go to that. But other than that, I've been reading a lot. It's been busy. I haven't got much gaming in as much as I'd like to. I played some Last 100 Yards with Mitch Land a couple weeks ago, and I'm really enjoying that series. I need to get into that.
I have the first one, but I haven't played it yet.
It's different than it's one of those things. It's like going into BCS, it's different than like anything you've played.
Welcome, Magic Boa. Magic, welcome, Magic. First time on here. Sorry.
All right, congratulations. Thanks.
From Yorkshire. From Yorkshire.
Yorkshire.
Oh,
Yorkshire.
No,
that's not too far from. That's not too far from Birmingham, right?
Oh no,
or Lincolnshire.
Oh dear.
But no, I haven't got as much as I wanted to played lately. But I'm actually progressing on my list. I think I got 4 to 5 games done. Or I can check it off and everything like that. So yeah,
you're even doing better than Ruff.
I got Ruff at least one game off of his list. We've got
with Panthers on my list. Don't forget.
Yeah, that's what I said. I got one game off of that. So yes.
So that's what this time in 2026, Ruff's going to have one game done from 2025.
We'll know it backwards, Tony, won't we? Know it backwards.
Yes. Yeah. Well, and honestly, my goal in life now is to play the games I have, getting deeper into them to really, really see. Yep. Tigers baseball season starting up, so I got to watch some preseason games last night.
Yes.
So. As a growing up as a Cincinnati Reds fan, I was always appreciative that baseball kept the tradition that the Reds started opening day of baseball for like 100 years. And then 10 years ago, they just decided, forget it, whatever. And oh, come on now.
Yeah. I don't know. The problem is they're actually starting in 2 weeks with 2 games in Japan. Dodgers and Cubs are playing 2 games in Japan, and then everybody then starts on the Thursday, the 29th, I think is what it is, of March. So I actually prefer that. So
hey, I'm walking here.
Don't think I've ever heard that
But
accent in America before.
I did pick up 2 Decision games because they were having a sale.
Don't encourage him. Sorry.
What did you get?
D-Day at Omaha Beach, because that's like the quintessential. That's the original.
Yeah.
And I like to be tortured, so. And then I picked up the World War I Deluxe game, so I'm kind of.
Oh yeah, that one looks interesting.
Yeah, I opened it up because
Nice.
I opened them up to make sure all the counters are. I mean, I hate having unwrapped I mean, I like having wrapped boxes because it shows me what I haven't played. But I've ran into a point where I found a game that I opened up and they didn't have any counter sheets left after I opened it because it's been out of print for so long.
Oh wow!
So I'm like, oh, shit. I was able to find somebody had like another used copy that I was able to get.
That's good.
But yeah. So so I'm really interested in that, and so they were on sale, and I was like, I've been looking at those too, but I've really kind of cut down my buying. But I've got so many pre-orders coming. I've got my GMT box, which has got about 4 or 5 games in it. I still have 2 games from Lock and Load that'll be coming. And I think there's a couple other pre-orders that I like Kickstarters or pre-orders or something that I've got that are coming. So I've got enough coming that I'm not trying to buy anymore. It's mainly these things here that I'm buying nowadays. So that's my 2 hobbies. My 2 hobbies are board gaming and reading. So
nice. Ruff, how have you been?
I am.
I understand that you're on the tail end of some fun stuff that you had.
Some lurgy, yes. I thought I was on the tail end of it. Over the weekend, last weekend, was a bit rough on the Friday when we were playing Panzer. It started tickly cough, and then Saturday it got a bit worse. But my goodness, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, it was bad news. Wednesday, I thought, okay, let's get the stuff out. Let's get going again. I'm feeling a bit better. I'm still coughing like I am now. But then I got an email saying, oh, you're going to get a delivery tomorrow from Second Chance Games. So I thought, I'll tell you what, let's put this away. Let's take a photo where I am, skies above Britain, so I can get it out again. The parcel didn't turn up. Phoned them up. They said, no, we'll deliver it Thursday. Didn't come Thursday. Oh, no, sorry. Thursday it was supposed to come. Friday, it didn't come, so I phoned them up again, and the table's still free. I'm keeping it free for the unboxings I'm expecting, the boxes. Turns up Saturday, and my goodness, it's everything I got in the shadows. And what they're doing now, they're putting on these little labels, UK importer, Second Chance Games, and all that. So that's a nice, it's got a solitaire bot. I played this many moons ago. I think one of the first San Diego HISCONs. I signed up for it, and I played it with the man himself. I think it was Dan Bullock there on whatever it was, Vassal or whatever. But yeah, so I played that, and they were thinking then of adding a solo thing to it. So I added that.
Out of that series of games, I'm looking forward to the next one, which is the Bell Tolls, the one about the Czechoslovakia.
Yes,
yeah.
They're sort of not lunchtime games, but they're very light, as you can see.
Mm-hmm.
And over quickly, I think, as you can see there.
It's the lunchtime series.
It's a sort of lunchtime game sort of thing.
You can play it in an hour.
Okay.
Yeah, 30, 45
minutes
sort of thing. Hour lunch break.
Yeah.
And then I got this.
Oh, I'm supposed to get that.
Yeah. See,
passed on that one.
Well, I was going to cancel it, but at the time I made my mind up, it had already been charged. So,
Bell of Treason, that's what it is.
That's the one. Yes.
That's the one. Yeah.
Yes. Thanks, William.
That one. Yeah. Yes, I'm looking forward to that one. I want to play that one. I was watching.
Nerdy's been playing this, of course, on his own end with Jester. And Patrick and Kai have been having a go as well. So there's lots of resources out there.
Patrick started to take a lot of people have took my ideas.
Yes, they're getting them in their pockets. They're getting all these designers in their
pockets. I started the whole play with the designer thing, and teaching with the designer, and now everybody's taking all my good ideas. I'm so mad. No, I'm just kidding. I think it's a great thing. What's nice is that I can get in and find.
You got to keep your royalties.
Yeah. Oh, I got that one coming too.
Yeah, I've got mine.
Wait. Isn't that the game that they just go like that?
That's GBOH in a sentence.
Yes.
With a bit of this sometimes.
Yeah, you gotta get the
little bit of that, but lots of that. Yes. And then lastly,
let me ask in that. So in the Hoplite game, I assume that the Battle of Marathon is in the game.
Oh well, I would think so, but let's have a look.
490 BC.
It doesn't say. There's no list on the.
Oh, it doesn't say. I would assume that's like one of the quintessential.
I've heard of that.
Rip it open.
No, not to do me unboxing. No, it's unlucky.
Fine. And then
lastly, of course,
man, you wouldn't even do it for the war room. Oh,
Fields of Fire. Look at that. Look.
That is a huge box. Oh, thanks, Mike.
So that's that. But so I've got plenty to be getting on with next week before I get back on the videoing malarkey. But also, as you know, I'm a keen board game player as well. And we've played this, me and Jester, Tony and Mike, but Jelly and myself have played Hexplore It, the latest one in the series. I see that. Oh, right. You're going to put that up. Hold on.
There's the battles.
It's got the battles there, is it?
Ah, yep. There it is.
Yep. And I'm going to butcher this, so have fun with this. Canox, Delium, Epheus, Lucatrea, Mantea, Marathon, which is what you're asking, Maiscal, Platea, Niniema, Coranena. I'm done. Oh, one more.
I'll tell you what, Tony.
Might as well butcher the last one.
Tony, it's all Greek to me. It's all I can say.
Exactly.
But,
well, the reason I asked,
he's here all week.
Yeah,
that's right. The reason I ask about Marathon is that I think it should be part of the scenario is that in the real battle for the last several hundred yards until the Greeks met up with the Persians, the Greeks ran that distance in full kit all the way and then crashed. So I figured,
that's represented in the game. That's represented in the game because if you keep moving the hoplites, they suddenly get a bit stir crazy and you can't stop them. They'll just keep going. You have no control. You have to just keep moving them.
Now, what was cool, I forgot how long ago it was or whatever. There was a time where historians didn't think that was possible for the run to happen. How could you run that distance in full kit and armor and then still be, energized enough to fight? And so some guy in Britain made himself a full suit of hoplite armor, went to the battlefield of Marathon and started running from the spot where supposedly it happened to where the Persians were and proved that it was possible.
And of course, they were probably in better condition than most of the historians that would try to do that.
Right.
So, of course, yes. Yeah, most of the historians are not in the best condition.
No.
As historians ourselves, we can agree.
Right.
Where is that from?
Go to any conference and you'll see.
Forget that. Just look at the pictures on the.
Oh yeah, look at the book jacket.
Yeah,
right.
What's that?
What?
What did you? Well, you were showing book.
I just had this book because I was going to throw something up while Nate was doing his to add to it.
All right.
So something I found.
If I'm not mistaken, where's that from?
Tembo with open arms. I have no.
No, with arms open.
With arms open.
And then something with arms closed. Star Trek.
I have no idea.
Yes, you heathens.
I'm not a Trekkie.
Heathens. Anyway, I was saying, played.
I thought I was, and then I realized I wasn't. Ruff just pointed that out that I was not.
I'm starting to regret asking you, Tony. Now, sure. But no, serious. I was talking about.
And you should have seen me before in the green room. I was like,
"Oh Jesus! Oh, come on!"
I told you I teach. I have to do this all the time.
That's
I have to be.
So anyway,
all the time.
The
What else you got? What else are you going to pull up?
The second part of me hex, because
exactly.
I've got the first part hexploit where I got #1 game, the dead
Valley of the Dead
it's
King.
called.
Yes.
Yeah, Dead King. And they then sent in today, well, a couple of days ago, I've got the second one, the forest, because they sent the first and the third.
Okay.
Oh, that's the third one's the sand one. That's
the sands. Yeah, I've got those two, and that's what came. And there's the expansion for it.
Of course, you got to buy the extensions.
You've got
with
to.
them, of course.
You've got to. But then I thought, yes, I'm going to get these. Now they brought these books out.
Oh, the campaign books.
These are the campaign books based on the game. So this one's the Dead King land history, and you can play through a complete role-playing game with characters and that. And I thought, yeah, I'll get that. But they also do one for the forests, and I think they must have been bored because look at the size of that one.
Sounds like someone needs like
intervention.
Yes.
Yeah, intervention. Yes.
At least a separate room to put all this in.
Hey,
hey,
Ruff, how's that music room going for you?
Yeah, right.
It's not going very well. It's not going very well.
Obviously.
But,
well, so since I have not been here, and thanks for asking, Ruff.
Hold on, I'll get my breath back by picking them books up. Hold on.
Yeah, he like literally threw his back out putting that
and
book
by
down.
the way, you're in charge, so you run the show. Go on.
Oh well, I feel so empowered now. And so in the 2 weeks that I have been away, and I'm very glad to be back. Thank you to Mike for coming on, and
it was cool.
It was great. He did a fantastic
I thought you grew a beard and got gray hair for a second.
That's
right. Shush, Mike, shush.
I will share my screen. This one. So I played a little bit of this. France 40, the Dynamo scenario. I've seen a lot of people play the Sickle Cut one, but I decided to try to play the Dynamo one, and it's really good. I was really surprised how much I liked it. France 40 is a great game. And then I also played, Cardboard Commander mentioned it, that I had put it on the TACUP group that I had played Traces of Hubris. So really enjoyed that. The Germans did not win. The German player became so obsessed with trying to destroy every Russian unit that there was that he lost sight of the objectives. And basically the game just kind of, the Russians could just grind the Germans down. So I played that. Then I moved on to a big one. This.
Oh, that is a biggie.
It is a biggie. And so I started the learning scenario, played it a few times. And
are those clipped counters? Did you clip your counters?
Yes, sir.
Of course, we've got him well trained here.
Okay, good.
At the war room.
In fact, there you go. See, this nicely clipped. This game really surprised me in that I had set this up a couple of times and took it down because I was so intimidated by how much there is, and like the rule book and how many units there are. I forgot how many in there. There's, I think, a couple of thousand.
It's insane. Yeah.
But I thought, okay, I'm going to be patient enough and go through this. And the learning scenario thankfully took out some of the rules, specifically supply, combat supply. That was a big part. It just said everybody's in supply for the whole scenario, so you didn't have to worry about it. And actually I found, plus it had an example of play of the first scenario. So I followed through that and then started to play it again by myself and found that it was actually much easier to get into the East Front series than I had initially thought. So I actually didn't have a reason to be intimidated, but I think it's just kind of the aura of the game from, so many years and so many, what people say about it. But then I have this set up.
Oh, jeez.
So I will be playing the Overlord scenario. I know I am a little mad, but I have this set up, and we'll be playing this right after the show's over. I'll be gonna start this, and so I'm looking forward to it. But
we've had a couple more people turn up since you were yakking away. By the way, what makes me laugh is, the Brits are always going about the weather because we've got nothing else to talk, because we have such varied weather. That's, when we meet somebody in the street, go, "Oh, how are you doing?" "All right, yeah, the weather's nice, isn't it?" Or "The weather's terrible." They're starting to do it in the chat from all over the world. They're becoming British. They say, "Hello from sunny what's name," or "a cold, chilly," wherever. So it's brilliant.
Yep.
But we've got Campin.
Yep.
Hey.
And the man that makes rules up as he goes along, especially if you're playing against him. Tweez.
Hey.
Hey, Blue, I've enjoyed your playthrough that you've done live through of Iran. Yeah,
Iran. No, Iran, not Iran. It's Iran. when I run for the bus, I ran for the bus. The country is Iran. Let's get that. Anyway, no, that's good. I've got to watch them all yet, but
no, Mitch jumps in a couple times to tell him he's doing stuff wrong, but that's
there you go. Yeah, see that, right. He knows how it feels now.
Right. Well, I will say, I want to for everyone who is watching, that the topic for the show today,
crazy, isn't it?
It is
crazy.
It's awesome.
It's because I'm on. It's all me. It's all me. It's all me.
You took the words out my mouth, Tony.
It's all me.
That's right. So the topic for today is something that I know that a lot of wargamers, including us, that we play a lot of our games by ourselves, and we play both sides. And I thought it would be a good opportunity for us three, because we all three of us have different interest in the type of games. Hey there, that we enjoy playing, and you guys are more tactical players, while I'm more of the strategic and operational level. And really, I want to talk about how do we go about learning a war game by ourselves.
Badly.
Okay, that's it. Topic's over.
For me. I'm speaking for myself, of course.
So I thought it would be a good time to talk about kind of how we go about learning a game ourselves, and maybe give some people some ideas on how they can go about learning a game by themselves, especially because a lot of us, we learn it by ourselves, we play it by ourselves, and then we can bring people along and to play it. So we'll be getting to that at some point here in a little bit. Right, historical wings, example.
And that depends on the quality of the example of play, doesn't it?
That is true. That's true. And hopefully there's no errata in it.
Yes.
Oh, if we say that 2 more times, he'll show up.
He'll turn up. No.
I actually saw Beetlejuice the musical the other night, which was really good, by the way.
Saw the photos. You guys look so lovely. It's family photo, so cute. I want to cuddle you all. Lovely.
So, Ruff, I'm curious. So, there's nothing set up on your.
Get some cream for that. But anyway, what?
You walked into that one, Nate. I'm sorry.
A bit better. Cheers, lock and load. Yeah.
Why did I come back on this show?
I'm asking the same question, Nate. Yeah.
So, Ruff, you have nothing set up on your table right now, correct?
Apart from a stack of games at either end, and no, not at the moment, because I'm going to be videoing these as quick as possible. Do some unboxings so I can get Skies Above Britain back.
Did you do an unboxing? I think you got the new Cold War, correct?
I was the first person in the world to do an unboxing of that. And
and somebody else did it pretty quickly after you.
Yeah, but after, the word is after.
That's because that's because you're like neighbors to Germany.
Well, yes. Well, they know
that's
the way.
That's why you guys have been so close allies for years.
They know the way to Britain anyway from previous anyway.
And they have airdrop. They've learned how to airdrop stuff.
That's right. There you go.
But yes, I even got a thank you from the designers, on Twitter, because they got their own Twitter account. called the new Cold War, and they went, "Oh, great! Our first unboxing." And then they all come piling in afterwards.
What did you think of that?
I've played it, you see. That's the other thing. I know, and it looks like they've added some bits and pieces. Mm-hmm. Gareth is in the chat, played it with us, and we had Vuka, Patrick, and Julius explain the rules. And as I said before, Eve, the designer of Red Strike, was at PunchCon, and he was on my side. We were the goodies, I suppose. We were the USA and EU or Europe, and Gareth and another chap were the Chinese and Russians. And it's good fun. It was a prototype, so there's bits going on, but it was good fun. So
I asked because I've been
bots in it for playing solitaire, 2 people, 3 people.
Because I've been curious about that game. I've wondered about it, whether or not it would be something that I would enjoy, or if it's just kind of a one playthrough and I feel like I've gotten it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, because it's one of those semi-cooperative games, as I think I was talking about it last week, where you'll start off lovey-dovey, you and your partner, or you want this card, you have that card, because you can swap cards and all that sort of thing. But after a while, you've got to start doing your objectives. And if you think, I've got to take over that country that my Oppo here has, so I'm going to have to go for it. And suddenly you're stabbing people in the back. Which is always great fun, I understand. So it plays, there's lots of cards, lots of event cards.
So what you're saying is don't actually play the game with your friends, because you won't end up as friends at the end.
It's as bad as diplomacy.
Right, that's what I'm thinking of.
It's I mean, you've got it in games like, another one of my favorites is Nemesis, which is, you can play it purely cooperatively. If you're playing it solo, you play 2 characters, or you can play it purely cooperatively with another person, but it's designed as a semi-co-op, because you might have an objective that means you've got to kill everybody else, or you've got to get away and leave everybody else to die, or whatever. So you start off all lovey-dovey. I'll go and search for that room, shall I? And all that's, and then suddenly you've locked yourself in the isolation room, and nobody else can get in, and the spaceship goes into hyperdrive, and everybody who's not in there dies. So it's it's great. So there's that sort of.
So I'm curious, in that when will Skies Above Britain come back?
Sorry, I'm just getting a message from my advisor. No, I can't say that live. No, we'll get demonetized. No.
Were you going to exercise your Fourth Amendment rights as the ground that may incriminate me or something?
As you know, being a YouTuber, you have to make lots of difficult decisions, which the general public might not agree with. But in the long run, it's for the good of the nation. So it'll come out. I want to get going on it next week if I can. So getting it finished, number 5, and then number 6. What I'm going to do is, because what I tend to do is get out the episode and then wait for any comments, like cock-ups I've done and mistakes and whatnot to mention them in the next video. But what I'll try and do is I'll just go for it, blinkered. I'll just do it, get it out, do the next one, and warts and all. But at least it'll be finished.
I think you've been playing it now for a year.
Best part of a decade.
I know. Look, I'm starting to make videos again on YouTube now.
I know. We can't have that. We can't have you making more videos than me. That's a no-no. But yeah, seriously though, it has been difficult. It has been awkward, and things have been tough, and trying to get things done. And this week being ill and the stuff all coming in at once, it's just what makes life so interesting. Mm-hmm. So hopefully next week we can crack on with those unboxings and then crack on with Skies Above Britain. So there's only 2 more to do. Then I've got to decide what to do next. I think I've got quite a good list.
Maybe a game on your list.
Oh no, that's what I said. Look, don't take the mick. I said
I'm already on number 5.
Yeah, all right. There's some people that have finished it already. They just what's going on? Done 10 games in a couple of months.
Tony, how many do you have, Tony?
Let me check my list. Hold on. I got it down here. I think it's about 4 or 5. I think about 4 or 5. Let's see here. Let me get to my page on that.
Oh, thanks, Historic Wings. Thank you. Yeah, for people who don't know, so my other YouTube channel, the Board Game Bunker, me and my buddy Ryan, we started our podcast again on it. So the first episode went live yesterday, and the second episode will be every other Friday. Hopefully we will be consistent on this. That is
look, it's got to be. Look at his thumbnail. Look at his thumbnail. Yes, it is a great game. It's just life has got in the way in the last couple of months.
Yeah, I'm at 4.
Nice. What was your 4?
Panzer, as we've played with Ruff.
Okay.
Fields of Fire, which I'm still playing with Andrew. Things went crazy, and him being in Japan and me being here, timing is always not the easiest thing. Malta Besieged, which was one. Really enjoyed that one, by the way.
It's good fun, isn't it?
Yes. It seems like playable. Like you usually don't lose in the first or second one, maybe the second era. It's usually the last of the era, which makes you feel like you have a chance. Yeah. Some of the States of Siege games, you don't feel like you have a chance from the first card. You feel like you're going to lose on the first card.
Yeah, I think you felt about that a little bit like that about that other one, which I was going to get.
Yes, Keep Up the Fire, the Chinese one.
The Boxer Revolution.
Got rid of that one. Yeah.
And
then 8th Air Force, which I'm currently doing. So those are the 4 that I've done. I still have Warfighter, which I'm going to do the Vietnam one.
That's on my list as well.
Nate, you and me are trying to get together to play that one because I really want to play that one.
What's that one?
The lamps are going out.
Yes.
Yeah. That's a good one.
That looks so much fun. It looks like it's entertaining and stuff like that.
Don't worry, they'll end up hating each other. Don't worry.
Let's see. World at War 85, Panzer Grenadier, A Glorious Chance, Days of Ire, the Budapest 1956, which I've already played several times, so that'll be an easy.
There you go, Ruff. I heard something.
What's that? Sorry.
See,
and
look how good that game looks.
Yep,
it's a great looking game, great playing game. Sorry, I love that game so much.
And I will finish my Fortress Games collection of playing their games on my channel when I play Save Vietnam Comrade or Save Vietnam. So I'll have 4 out of 4 Fortress games because I did the 29th Air Force previously. I did Save Afghanistan Comrade. I'm doing 8th Air Force now, and the only one I haven't done was Save Vietnam. And I've seen that played, and that looks like so much fun. That really looks like fun. I can't wait to get into that. So I'm feeling pretty good about it. So, yeah.
I would say yes.
I will say yes, and I think Colin has said as well, it's the other side. So it's not as complex as Skies Above Britain. That's one of the more of the 3. There's a little bit more going on. But I've got the lot. So yes.
Yeah, I've got all 3 of them now too. Yep.
Yeah.
And eventually, I mean, whenever Skies Above Britain does come back, then if you have RAF, then you can combine them.
That's
no.
God no. I mean, RAF.
That would be really cool to play.
I'm not saying that's not true, but there's no way I would ever put that in. Like I would make it through probably a quarter of a turn sequence.
If you're going to lock yourself away, I can't speak too much because it's taken me long enough just to bloody do Skies Above Britain. But can you imagine me doing that and RAF? I'd be. Yeah, no, it's just
Ruff, I can't imagine if like, for instance, that you played one of my like big campaign games, strategic games, how long it would take you to play. Because you do so long on these tactical games that are more small scale. I can't imagine if you tried to do the whole big one.
Well, I could if I had the room. That's why I haven't got any, because I just haven't got the room. I mean,
no, you just set yourself up again.
What's that?
You don't have the room? Well, I mean...
No, even if I had the room, I haven't got the room because the tables aren't big enough for a 5 mapper. And there's no way I'm going to stick 5 desks in my room to play that blooming game.
Just rent an empty warehouse and just
exactly. Yes. it wouldn't be any different to videoing. You know, I would video exactly the same and everything. And yeah, it would take a while, but yeah, that's. It's not I don't like them. I just can't do them. It's like even Traces of Hubris and the other one. It's 2 maps and I just can't fit them on. I could probably get away with it because I don't know, they're not even mounted, are they?
Mm-mm.
So I couldn't have them overlapping like a mounted board side by side.
Right.
They'd all just a little bit like we had with what do we call it? Point Blank.
Oh,
where
okay.
you had to put the whole map out, which overhung, bits.
Yeah.
And it's just not right. Which is why I'm looking forward to Point Blank the blocks.
Oh.
Because each sort of rectangle on the map is now separate, so you can put just what map you want out rather than using the whole thing.
Yeah.
So
there's an expansion that's coming out with that's making that official. I've showed off the prototype of that, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
That have the cards, and you can flip them over. So one side's like summer and the other side's winter. So because it's coming with like the winter expansion that they have, so you can do like Battle of the Bulge stuff. So it's going to be interesting.
Now I will say, I was surprised when you mentioned Traces of Hubris. I was surprised that after I punched it out, because you don't have to clip it, thankfully, because it's all pre-rounded, but set it up, and I was really surprised with how easy it was to get into that game and just play it. And VUCA did a great job on that rule book. It was very concise and very clear on what to do. And plus, it was nice in the rule book when it would mention something of like a particular chit or whatever, that there was a picture of that. And so you knew what to go find, as opposed to sometimes I've seen in some rule books where it mentioned something and I have no clue what I'm supposed to look for in the midst of 3,000 counters. And because I don't know about you, when I get a game, I first just punch everything out and start clipping them and just organize it as best I can. But I don't really know what I'm doing until I start setting up a game. So like, for instance, it's going to take me forever to set up a GTS game because I got the Utah Beach one. And I just threw them all in the box, so I'm gonna have to probably dump them all out
and just
to set up a game.
Hold on a sec, because Colin says, "Good to see Stuka Joe here." We get all the top names here on this show. We need 7 more people to join us, and we'll have 100 people watching us. I mean, it's silly, isn't it?
It's amazing.
But we get all the designers here, so it's very good.
Haven't we said for quite a while this is the best show on Wargaming?
It's the best show on at 9 o'clock in the evening in the UK on a Saturday. that's we can say that. And but yeah, it's good. But Traces of Hubris, you say it was so easy. It's not because it's a simple game, but it's been written so well. The rules are explained.
Exactly. I mean, I was curious, like after played it, I was interested enough to maybe go get the other game. Was it Traces of War, I think?
Yeah, Traces of War, yes.
And then there's a Western Front game they're coming out with at some point. I know that. I seen it on X at one point.
It's
I don't know what the name of it is. It's not announced. I just saw a picture of it
that might have been the one they were sort of play testing when, again, at PunchCon, when I was there, when VUCA were there. They were playing a game and getting people to try and play it. Quite right, Tweez. Quite right.
Well, it could be the news, depending on what we talk about.
No, no.
We do have a lot of world premieres on this show.
Not the 9 o'clock news is not the 9 o'clock news.
Oh, okay, gotcha. It's one of those British things.
It's a comedy show, yes, with Mr. Bean in it.
Oh, I would love it.
That's what I got already, Stuka. Too much. I have too much, biscuits.
Well,
and
we don't need to know your
bulge.
personal life, Ruff.
Yeah.
We don't need to know your personal life.
We're not talking about that bulge. We're talking about the midriff bulge. Thank you very much, Tony.
So there's a comment that was it Leonard? We're playtesting it now. So the one above.
Are you?
What's its name?
Yeah.
Leonard.
What's the name?
Leonard.
And
yeah,
I think it. If I remembered reading it correctly, I think it's about Patton's Drive across France.
I'm sure that was the one that was being. It was in a very early stage. They had a map and some counters, and they were pushing stuff about. But
it was the type of game that I could see having it set up and listening to the Patton movie soundtrack while I play it.
Got to, hadn't you? Got to, and have that trumpet bit at the beginning.
That's right.
Walks up behind the massive American flag.
Right before you play it, you got to listen to the speech.
Yeah.
Oh, Traces of
Victory. Traces of Victory.
Right.
Nice.
Thank you.
Thanks, Leonard. Leonard, thank you very much.
So you're telling me the Traces of Hubris is, let me say, so it's World War II East Front. Am I correct on that?
Right. It's the Stalingrad campaign.
Okay. Stalingrad campaign. Okay, got it. So it was pretty easy to pick up, and rules wise, you said they were ruled pretty well.
It was less than 20 pages. I know that. I don't have.
Oh wow! Okay, got it.
It's a chit pull game, so it's easy.
Yeah.
Oh, very
solo, pretty good.
Yeah. And the one thing that I liked, because I don't know, I'm a sucker for things that look really cool. Is let me share my screen.
Hold on, so Leonard is the man, one of the main playtesters for VUCA then.
On the back of Traces for Hubris.
Nice.
Yeah. All right, cool. Welcome to the show, by the way.
Welcome to the Warren. Great to see you.
I'm sharing it, Ruff.
Oh, righto.
Pay attention, Ruff.
Shut up.
So, I love the artwork in
that map is pretty cool.
The maps are cool. They are
great, especially
because they've got the Russian name as well.
Right.
The
Russian player where he's sitting, all the names are in Russian, and then all the anglicized names are on the German side.
Again, they did that. I know it's not a completely different game, but they did a similar thing with the Bismarck game.
Yeah.
The German player has his stuff in German, and the British player in English, of course.
Yep.
But yeah,
little
things like that make a heck of a difference.
I also really like. Let's see if I can zoom in a little bit here. Is the silhouettes of the tanks? I really like those, and just how I don't know, like even just the NATO symbols, like everything looks to be more artistic. As
they put a shadow behind the NATO symbols.
Yeah,
but you can have the silhouettes, or you can have the NATO symbols, can't you, for the tanks?
Right. Yeah, you
can
your
preference.
But it plays very, very, very well. I mean, just the chit system. Plus, it's got a neat. Let's see if I can find it. Well, there's both maps together.
Yeah, I can see. It's the way they're orientated as well. It's the 22 by 34 that you put it on your table. Then there's another one of those underneath. I can't turn it sideways.
Yeah, they provide you, if you want to play it solitaire, is everything's on one board there. So you don't have to keep reaching across the table. Want to get, like, if you're sitting on the German side, reach across, put the Soviet stuff down.
Oh, nice.
It's all right on one board. And it's very, very easy to play. They definitely thought through, like,
they do that now as a sort of standard. The first game, Archon, it wasn't on there. When they brought out the update kit, they put those solitaire boards in the game. They've done it ever since. Saves, as you say, saves you reaching across the other side of the map.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, everyone's comments right. I mean, like Red Strike, I thought looks great. Knock Paris, definitely. I love those maps in Knock Paris. So
and they're on that sort of not paper.
Yeah, it's like a linen.
Yeah, it's weird stuff. Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah, but the chit pull system, I love chit pull system games.
Yeah,
and it surprised me how much I really like.
For those that are new, because we had a few comments when I put the link up for this about, oh great, I'm a new player, Wargamer. chip game, if it's not a solitaire game and you still want to play a 2-player game that's got chip pull, then it's going to be easy because you pull who's going to go next. So yes, you still have to play both sides, of course, but it's
right. It limits your decision space, thankfully, and which is good. Sometimes some of these big games, you set them all up, and it's like, what do I do?
Yeah.
You know, I'm almost, you know, you get a wargamer's block. You're so afraid to make any decision that you might screw it all up, and you have to undo it all.
You go, oh, they're going first now. What would they do? And you're off, you know. And chips make the main decision of who goes first, who's moving now, you know. So,
and they also get in the way sometimes because you might like, for instance, in the Dark series. You know, you have a chit and you pull a move and you move all your guys up and you're hoping that the next chit comes out as a combat one so you can attack them. And instead it's the enemy's move and they pull back and you just all your plans.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
Smoke.
You're not wrong there, Amerislav. You're not wrong. It's huge. There you see the box there. Look at the size of it.
Is that on your list?
Of course it isn't.
Man, okay.
I haven't put Fields of Fire on there because it's a bit of that. There's a lot to do. Yeah, there's a lot to do. I need to sort of not churn them out, but I need things that I can sort of play through that I can spend a week learning and then videoing it a couple of 3 times, depending how many I need. Rather like Fields of Fire. I know it's much easier now, but that's, it's still a crunchy lot going on game.
Do you think that you'll play it this year?
Oh, I'll probably play it. I'm hoping once I get going, all being well, health-wise, I'm going to start crunching them out. I'm going to be a bit of a jester bite, Yeah.
So,
if you like Jester, churn them out. No regard for the rules. Just get them out, So
we'll be seeing 16 videos a week from you.
Yes. All badly edited and played.
All live, too.
All live. I wish I could. It would make it so much easier. But
hey, I still remember when you went live. On the Hunters. I watched it. It was great.
First time was great. It was my phone nearly melted. It was having problems trying to do the live show, and then the third time I did it, for some reason, it went 1990 on me, and showed the vertical for some reason.
I remember that,
and I don't know why it did that. And
that was weird. I will admit that.
Yeah,
that was weird.
Hang on. Thanks, Colin.
Right, Christoph. Yep. Take phones away before class begins.
I'm trying. Mike sent me a picture that I wanted to share.
Is he doing? I'll get the right up to my son now, and the wife does it. Let's sit and watch a film together. Okay, she says, and then I look round. I get the ump.
So, Tony.
Yeah.
Let me ask.
I can talk and do this.
Waiting for this to come out. Waiting for that to come out. Hopefully, fingers crossed. I don't know if Herman's got any info on it, but yeah, that looks cool. So, incidentally, that was the first video series that Blue Tweezer did. It was on Mets.
Yes, that's right. I forgot about that.
See, I listen, I watch, I learn, I take it in. You see, my fellow peeps.
So you follow the old Roman maxim is that always know what you say, but don't always say what you know.
Yes.
That sounds about right. Yep, because there's a lot of stuff I know that I would not want to say. Yes.
Yes, there's honesty and there's honesty. Yes.
Right. So Tony, I'm curious. So you did a teach and play with the designer for Fields of Fire.
Yeah, the first one really wasn't a teach. I had to adjust that after that first one. But yes, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what is you have played Fields of Fire before.
Hello, darling. Hey. Yeah, good. What a smile. Daughters, when they're great, aren't they?
Right?
They're great.
Well, you got visitors, so. But thank you for stopping. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
They said hi.
But daughters are lovely, aren't they? They smile and everything. But then when they're not, they're
friends
horrible.
over right now.
They're horrible. Anyway.
Yeah. So okay, yeah. So Fields of Fire, yes, 100%.
So you played the older versions, correct?
Yes. Well, I had the second edition.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. What's your opinion on it now as the newer version, and having played it with the designer? Like, what's your thoughts on it?
So basically, it's the same game, 100%. Okay, it's the same game as the first edition. What they've done is they've explained how it plays a lot better. Okay, that's what they've done. And they've added some other stuff that kind of helps out, like certain markers that make it easier to, like, keep track of stuff and things like that. I really enjoy it. There is a great story there. And Andrew I have to slow him down because he knows that.
Well, he's from the right side of the pond for a start.
Well, he's in Japan, so I don't know if
he's not Japanese, is he?
No, he's not Japanese. That is true. But they spent so much time trying to figure things out with the rules and try to explain it better. Because as much as Ben is a great guy, good design game.
I apologize.
I have to interrupt you.
I just want to apologize.
When you're learning a game, don't learn it with blue tweezers because you'll always lose.
Yeah. I apologize for everybody in the chat that you have to put up with this smut from someone who calls himself my friend. Yeah.
It's typical British humor. I'm used to it by now. So, anyways, so basically, yeah, Tweez cracks me up. Tweez is a good guy. Good guy.
Yeah,
very much so. There's a lot that I'm picking up as I'm playing with him, and a lot of times I will have to slow him down and say, "Hey, wait a second, let's talk about this real quick. Why is this the way it is?"
Can I ask a question before I open the box? Fields of Fire was my first war game I bought. I opened it, read it, and I thought, crikey, this is a bit crunchy. And I was reading it, and I played it through a few times, probably completely wrong. But I thought, wow, what a game.
Yep.
Now,
even if you play it wrong, it's still a great game.
Cracking, yeah. But yeah, because you don't know you're playing it wrong because it's solitaire. But now, if somebody opens it, because it had lots of digs about it, from the second, even the second edition, which I got about the rules. If I crack this open now, will I be able to understand it better? How the chain of command worked? Because that was one of the big things that if you weren't in the military and you didn't understand how the chain of command worked, you were like, oh, lost. Is it much better now?
Yes, it is. And what they've done is they've actually made 2 field manuals. So you can learn the basics of the game without getting into the game. So you can learn how to move, how commands work. And yeah, I think they've really explained with teaching, with the examples of play and things like that of, okay, the BN, the battalion commander gives orders to the CO. The CO then gives them to the platoon and the platoon leaders and the staff, and then they give them to their people. So yes, it is much better organized that way. I just think all in all, they've really clarified a lot of things. The problem with the game that has so many details as this game does, you're not going to find everything in the rule book. A matter of fact, talking with Andrew, in some cases, if you can't find it, make a decision and pull a freaking card.
That's what that
one's a yes, two's a no, flip it over on a 2 draw, find out what it is. Okay. So
okay, thanks.
So definitely they've done a lot better job with that. The problem is, like I said, there's going to be edge cases people are going to come across, and you're not going to find a reference to it because it's something that maybe it's never happened.
Although, having said that, there's a great Discord and there's also a Facebook page.
The Facebook page is phenomenal. Andrew answers questions all the time. I'm constantly on there, and he will answer your questions. Put a picture, explain what you're doing, put it on there, and Andrew will be there pretty quickly. Andrew is a great guy. So
nobody cares, Tweez. Nobody cares.
It's wait a minute. I demand a video on how to do the railroad rules for Knock Paris first.
Yes.
Before that video.
Yeah.
Okay,
So,
well, at least it seems like,
no.
at least
And
it
then
seems like then that it,
Yeah.
they constructed the game for people who aren't in the military, who don't understand the chain of command.
Both Alan and Colin are not military men.
Okay.
So this is coming from two people that were not in the military.
Explaining it to maybe the majority of people who weren't in the military.
Yes.
Maybe.
Yeah, because if you understood the command hierarchy of just the general military, you get it. You get a lot of the questions that people have.
It's like, certain waste rolls downhill, doesn't it? So it comes down to the poor sod at the with the rifle in his hand, sort of thing.
Fields of Fire, I've not played up front, but I
don't think it is.
I don't think so. I think Point Blank has more in common
I was going to say
than Fields of Fire.
Yeah.
Fields of Fire is ASL more. I'd call it more ASL.
Oh,
that would be kind of with not as many rules, but on the detail, because you're not doing a huge area. I mean, it's just the map. So you're only doing this. You're only doing one company while you're doing multiple stuff for ASL. So it's a little. It's more granular even than ASL in some aspects, but it's also like I don't know how to describe it, but when it comes to a story to tell, any type of tactical like that, this is probably even better because you can kind of see how everything is going to do.
It certainly does, Mike. It certainly does.
Yes. Any game, and we kind of talked about this, any game that is different, we talked Last 100 Yards, BCS, Fields of Fire. Anytime you have a game that kind of deviates from the norm, not saying it's a bad thing, more people are going to have questions about it because of that.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things that, okay, this isn't what I'm used to. I don't get it. It's kind of like, because as wargamers, once we learn a lot of like zones of control, when I get a game, how do I move? How do I shoot? What's the retreat? Are they sticky zones?
Right. There's a lot of standard concepts.
Yeah. Yeah.
But this game in question, I'm glad it's cropped up, because this is a great example for our subject, because being a solitaire game, the chances are you're going to be learning it on your own. Rather than somebody you're going to be playing with.
Well, hold all those thoughts, because we are at an hour. And
nice cliffhanger.
Coy's on it. Yeah.
And I think I started it right before he even commented. So
you stopped it. Yep.
Now the thing is, we've played Fields of Fire with Tweez, me, Jester, and Tony. 4 of us playing a solitaire game, and it was fantastic.
It was a blast. Yep, it was awesome.
Well, just because it's solitaire, it's a bit like Warfighter. Just because it's a solitaire game doesn't mean you can bring other people in to enjoy the fun.
Yeah. So me and Andrew, the way we've got it set up is he's taking first platoon, and the staff. By the way, the staff's all dead. So the first sergeant and the XO have all died. And we actually had one of our platoon leaders die. We had to reconstitute him. So he went from a veteran to a green.
What's this, reanimate or something?
No, reconstitute. So basically, it's it. And then I have second and third platoon. So you can split up the platoons and things like that. So, and sometimes go ahead.
Okay, so let's do our Ruff, you and I, and Tony. I guess you're joining in on my part.
I have a couple that I want to throw. Yep.
Oh, we all going sort of educational and booky and all that.
Hey, Nordic actually does a show. I don't know if you guys have seen Nordic's show. Nordic does a live stream as well, which I'm very interested in. Nordic, good job, Nordic.
Yep. I've not seen that. Matt, Nordic, you haven't told us about it.
It's on Matt CTR's channel.
Oh, I've seen that. They're playing together, aren't they?
Yeah. Well, in this case, they actually have like a podcast type.
They have a back and forth. Yeah. Great.
And he does a weird thing, like a weird news note or something like that. And the one I saw was talking about the Great Molasses Flood in Boston.
No.
That was
sweet.
Great. Keep it up, Nordic.
All right, Ruff. Why don't you give
it wasn't British history. So that's
Oh, get out of
Sorry.
here!
Just going with that.
More airplane history.
I'm sorry, but that's how. If that's all there is. Now, this week is very, very sparse for some reason.
And don't forget, today is the 8th of March, and I did it for you. It's not March 8th; it's the 8th of March.
That's
just
right.
For you.
But as I've explained before, we used to say the date the same way as you back in the day in the 17th century.
Mm-hmm.
We changed it. You didn't. So there's words like faucet we used to use. You haven't bothered to change it. John for the toilet, we used to use that. You haven't bothered to change it. The date, we used to use that. You haven't. But anyway, so it's just you're just carrying on our old traditions. That's
so,
what it is.
so basically, they wanted to change everything because they didn't want to be like us.
Exactly.
Because we're better. They're like, we have no connection with this. They want to deny that we even exist.
Well, no, I think you're guilty of. I think you're guilty of that as well. Look at the front part of a car. That's called a bonnet.
The hood.
You call it a hood.
Yeah.
Just call it something different, just for the sake of it.
A bonnet is what you put on the head.
Yeah.
See, we can have words that mean more than one meaning. You see, we're clever like that. So
like growler.
Growler, yes. No, that only has one meaning.
Except Ruff still can't pronounce where the Civil War ended here in the United States.
That's some. I don't. Apotamax. Yes. All right. That's the only word I can't.
All right, Lincolnshire. Here we go.
And
here we go. Right. So not a lot going on. For some reason, 1801. We have to start with the War of the Second. Excuse me. Voice is going. War of the Second Coalition. At the Battle of Aboukir, a British force under Sir Ralph Abercrombie lands in Egypt with the aim of ending the French campaign in Egypt and Syria. Then whizzing forward to 1910, the first pilot's licenses were issued. One to an Englishman, JTC Moore Brabazon, and a French woman, Elise Desroches. So that's the first pilot's licenses. And then First World War, 1916, a British force unsuccessfully attempts to relieve the siege of Kut in present-day Iraq in the Battle of Jujala. And this is, I think me trying to get into World War One. I think, me, I do like me North Africa stuff. I think I would like, the World War One stuff more in the deserty bits of the world.
There's a great movie. I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head, but there's a great movie that's about the Battle of
Lawrence of Arabia.
No, I'm not thinking Lawrence of Arabia. No. There's a movie about the last major cavalry charge at the Battle of Beersheba in 1917, and they do it. And all these horses everywhere. It's an incredible sight. They're charging.
Not CGI'd. No.
Nope.
It's a bit like the Waterloo film. It was all real people. It's just not going to get that anymore. But yeah, I think maybe the sort of Middle Easty World War One stuff might be a bit more interesting for me. But anyway, 1937, Spanish Civil War. The Battle of Guadalajara begins.
Oh, you said it correctly.
Of course, it's Spanish. 1942, World War II, the Dutch East Indies surrender Java to the Imperial Japanese Army. And again in 1942, those Tinkers, the Imperial Japanese Army, forces capture of Rangoon, Burma from us, the British. And also in 1942, actually overnight, the Royal Air Force Bomber Command bombs Essen, Germany, on 3 consecutive nights with 211, 187 and 126 aircraft, respectively, losing a combined total of only 16 bombers. Okay, 64 poor crews lost there.
There's the name of the movie, the Light Horseman.
The Last Horseman.
The Last Horseman.
See, it's the Aussies again.
Mm-hmm.
God bless them. The Commonwealth and the Kiwis.
That's right.
So anyway, they only lost 16 bombers. The raids are the combat debut of the G navigation aid. G, or just written GEE, was a radio navigation system used by the Royal Air Force during the Second World War. And how it worked, it measured the time delay between two radio signals to produce a fix with accuracy on the order of a few hundred meters at ranges up to about 350 miles. Now they're going, cool, this is cool. We've got this new navigation, or this new this sort of navigation system. It raised the British hopes that precision bombing of the Krupp armaments factory will be achieved. But it didn't hit it. And bombs do far more damage to neighbouring towns than to Essen itself. The third raid includes 2 Avro Lancasters, the first use of the Lancaster against a German target. And then just to finish off, another plane. Well, it's not a plane, it's a helicopter. 1954, first flight of the Sikorsky H-34. The Sikorsky H-34 is an American piston engine military utility helicopter. I emphasize piston engine. Originally designed by Sikorsky as an anti-submarine warfare ASW aircraft for the United States Navy. The H-34 was originally powered by a radial engine, but was later adapted to turbine power by the British licensee as the Westland Wessex. I'll show you a picture of them in a minute. The H-34 was one of the first successful military utility helicopters, serving on every continent with the armed forces of 25 countries. It saw combat in the Dominican Republic, Nicaragua, the Six-Day War, the Vietnam War, and the Algerian War, or is it the Algeria War? Who knows? Where the French Air Force used it to pioneer modern air assault tactics. It was the last piston engine helicopter to be operated by the United States Marine Corps, having been replaced by turbine-powered types such as the world-famous UH-1 Huey. So there we go. Let me just get this picky ready.
Get your magnifying glass out.
Yeah, oh, behave yourself. Getting a bit thingy. God, dear, oh dear.
Bless your heart.
Bless your heart, mate. Bless your heart. There it is. That's the Sikorsky.
It's ugly.
But they were workhorses, and but if you were
correct, utilitarian.
That's the word I couldn't say. But it developed into that, which is the Wessex. Again, used for rescue.
Even more ugly.
Yeah, but it was a workhorse, used a lot for air sea rescue.
And helicopters were really just becoming into age at that point.
Yeah.
This is 1950, 1960s, so,
And probably developed in the 40s, if you really think about it.
Mm-hmm.
Not the sea, no, where are we? Ugliest, yeah, it is not but you had a lot of them, and we had a lot of the Wessex as well. But there we go. That's today. Not a lot happening. For some reason, lots of plane crashes as always, but no, I'm not putting them on.
Okay. All right. Well, appreciate it, Ruff. So for my part, I thought I would pick something a little bit more in, I've done a lot recently on American Revolution, 7 Years War, World War II. I thought I'd go back to sort of the era that I'm in, late Rome, early Middle Ages. This book, The Inheritance of Rome. Let's see if I can get it. Illuminating the Dark Ages, 400 to 1000 by Chris Wickham. That's right at the fall of the Roman Empire. Correct.
Yep. Okay.
Yep. And it's
I've just realized I've asked 2 historians on the show. No, this is going to be
it's a thick book. There is, let's put it this way. This is the type of history book where there's a dedicated section that has all the pictures, and then that's it. And then it's back to text again for the rest of the book.
And the pictures don't count in the page count either.
No, they do not. No. Let's see. What is the page count? Well,
Oh, you got to throw out. Make sure you don't include all the sources too. Make sure it's
564.
Mm-hmm.
The sources though go for another 100 and some odd pages. So
I love history books that make it look better than what it actually.
But this is so a lot. There is a quite a bit of a debate amongst historians on what do we call the period from the fall of the Roman Empire to around Hastings, around 1066. What do we call that? For years, it was always called the Dark Ages. And it was coined by an Italian named Petrarch back in the 14th century. And he was contrasting his era of the Renaissance with the time of ancient Rome, and saw that it was a time of light and learning, and then it just stopped for about 1,000 years until his day, and then it comes back during the Renaissance. So he calls it the Dark Ages, and a lot of historians don't really like that term because
Renaissance.
Right, the
Renaissance.
The Renaissance. And so a lot of historians didn't like that because they're like, well, look at the artistic things that come up and the writing that's there. It's like that, but I still think the term is appropriate. I think the term does work. The newer term the historians like to use, and they just kind of gets smudged over and it's boring, is the early Middle Ages, which or doesn't sound as cool as the Dark Ages.
But isn't it called the Dark Ages because it's dark in knowledge? There wasn't a lot known about it as well.
There's the source material gets less and less.
So not dark because it's bad or whatever, because there wasn't a lot of knowledge about it. So
right. I mean, I will say this: there is a couple of years in the Dark Ages that it was literally darker across the world when Krakatoa exploded.
Yeah, I was like,
at 536 AD, and it exploded, and for like the next few years it was darker across the world because all the ash. But anyway, this book covers not only just the Western world, but it goes through like the Arab world, the Byzantine world, into Russia, what's going on up there, and kind of looking at specifically specifically like how is it that the Western world and the medieval world in general really came out of the fall of the Roman Empire, and how did that develop into eventually creating England, France, Scotland, all the other nations of Europe. So that's my book. Tony, what's your book?
I'm just looking at Colin, who's joined us this, I think, for the first time. It's like lots have happened. He's also said it was an anniversary of the Spitfire, but that was on the 5th, so that's why it's not included. But yeah, crikey, Tiger Moth crashing outside his house.
Hold on. I will say, to answer Dale's question, do you mean after 1453 when Rome fell? No, Rome fell. The West Roman Empire fell in 476, and then this covers from that until around 1000, 1066, the Hastings. 1453 is when Constantinople fell, the Eastern Roman Empire.
Mm-hmm.
Which are two completely
Rome was still technically
different
around,
things.
but it was East and West Rome. Yes,
right. I mean, they're still called the Roman Empire, but
they're pretty much. First thing I'm going to show is my diploma.
Oh, look at that! Oh no, well done, Tony. Well done.
It's official.
I can get them printed up as well, mate.
The funny thing is, I had to get a duplicate. They had to send me a new one because they spelled recommendation wrong.
Oh, this is a university or college, is it?
Yep.
There's no hope. There's no hope.
Yeah, it was spelled RECCOMEND instead of RECOMM. Yeah, so that was funny.
American spelling.
You went in the mail and I didn't even notice it. So this is I just got this, so it's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, thank you. It was I'm very proud of that, and I know Nate.
So you should be, and so you should be.
Yep.
Yes.
We've suffered. We suffered through it as well while you were doing it. Remember?
Yes, you did. You had to hear all about it. Yep. Nordic. I knew Nordic would have something there. So in my one of my classes we had to take, we had to do learning history through fiction. Okay. So we had to read two fiction novels. One of them was Regeneration. I recommend it very highly. That's a trilogy, by the way. It's World War I, and it's about a British soldier, which is really cool. So I got to read the other two now because the first one was really good. And the second one of the movies we had to watch is Inglourious Bastards, the movie. So I was at and I have not read this book, but I know the story behind it, and I will read it eventually. That is actually, so if you don't know about Inglourious Bastards, it's a Quentin Tarantino film. It's like how basically they send Jewish people behind German lines to kill Jews. It's based off of
a German story.
Well, when the quotes are huge. It's a huge quote. But it's a good film. I must admit, the guy that plays the German SS guy, fantastic guy.
He is. It's a really good movie.
It's a good fun. It's a fun film. Yeah.
It's based off of a true story, though. This is the true story. Yeah. So it's called Sons and Soldiers by Bruce Henderson. It is the untold story of the Jews who escaped the Nazis and returned in the U.S. Army to fight Hitler. And basically they were set behind the lines to actually cause sabotage.
Yes.
So the Inglourious Bastards actually technically was based off of this. Now, granted,
well, you didn't have the one that
that's about it.
Exaggerated and
that's about it.
It's Hollywooded up, but it is an entertaining film. Yeah. I must admit.
Yeah, and so I really had to analyze that movie and look at the truth on some of where did the truth, because they actually do kill Hitler in that movie. So so obviously it's not true.
Spoilers.
Spoiler alert. Yeah. So, but I've really got to read into this because I want to learn the true story about
you can't appease everyone. Forlorn has an opinion, and I get what you're saying. I just look at it as a romp. Yeah, it
is. It's a dark humor. Book. Movie. Yes. So the other one I want to do, and it's on topic, so we can segue perfectly into this.
Yeah, I know. They're all coming out now. Look, it's rubbish. Yeah, it's not historically accurate. It's just a bit of nonsense.
Anyways, I just saying that movie got me into looking behind the actual topic behind it. So
well, that's the good thing. Yes.
But I have this idea of learning how to learn, how people learn best. So I actually picked up a book called Make It Stick.
Okay.
Science of Successful Learning. So if you don't want to just learn the game just to play it, but you want to get deeper into it, I kind of really want to get deeper into it, this has actually got multiple ways to learn stuff. So if you want to get deeper, and so you know the rules, you know the things, you know how to use them, this has got many different things. The one thing that I thought was interesting was the recall theory, basically recalling. So quizzing yourself after you read the rules, quiz yourself and see how you do. And then go back, keep quizzing yourself until you actually get it right. Now I use this actually in my classroom.
Is that a good way to use this AI googly thing? Maybe.
Yes, I was going to get into that.
Questions. Maybe.
Yes.
Yeah.
So now that we're moving into our topic. Is how to learn a war game by yourself. So, Tony, go ahead. The floor is yours, though.
The one thing, so I took it, and so we have subscriptions at school to quizzes, games, and stuff like that, where you can upload a PDF and they'll come out with questions. I wanted to try it out just to see how it worked out. So I actually uploaded, the Shores of Tripoli rulebook, because it was relatively short, and I understood the rules already. I uploaded it, and they created a whole quiz for that game using that PDF, using the rulebook. And I literally went through and quizzed myself until I got 100% on that. When I went to play the game, no
bang.
Yes. So the idea now some people can just read it and get it.
Right.
Okay. I'm jealous of those people.
100%.
I'm jealous of those that can read a rule book and go, oh, okay, put it down and then start playing with very few rules reference. That's awesome. I can't do that. I need to do it differently. I'm a visual learner. I already know that. But what's interesting in this book, and I'm going to refer to it again, is that they tell you not to learn by your preferred manner. So if your preferred manner is to watch a video, they say if you learn it, if you really want to learn it, not just get into it and start playing, if you really want to learn the game, you actually got to do it one of your other less preferred ways because it's friction. The friction
gets the noggin a jogging, as we say.
The little gray cells moving.
Yeah.
Yes. So when I'm doing this, so how I'm learning how to do a game is different than how I used to because of what I've read. So basically, I'm trying to quiz myself over certain sections nowadays. As I'm reading rules, I'm trying to quiz myself. Okay, what was this again? What was this again? And then checking. And so it's really, really interesting. Yeah.
Now, speaking of AI, so I've tried 2 different AI models on rule books to see what they do. I've tried ChatGPT. I've uploaded a rule book and asked it questions, and it's okay. But I have tried recently the new X Grok 3, I think it's called, and that really surprised me because I was asking it specific questions, and it would say refer to rule 17 point whatever, and it would spit it out to me. However, I did notice I did as a test is I put in a rule book that I already knew the game intimately well.
Good.
And it spit out a rule that didn't exist.
Oh.
And it spit out a rule that it read it wrong. It like the word was clearly you cannot do this, except the AI model for some reason didn't see the word not. It just said can. And so you can do this. It was like all your units can move and fight when they have no supply. I'm like, that does not make sense.
The problem with that, which one was that did that? Which
the Grok one, the Twitter one.
Oh, right. Yeah, because some of them have this thing. Also, the word cannot normally is written as one word.
Right.
Rather than can not. So it might have seen can and not recognized the not bit.
Yeah.
So it's in early days, but the one we use, Tony,
I think an AI model is definitely, it's still useful in that, especially if something that you already know, like once you've learned the game, it's fine, I think, to have it as a quick reference. I want to find something really quick in a rule book, especially if it's a thicker rule book. But learning it through that, I'm not sure.
More of a reference. The Notebook LM is the one that me and Ruff have used. And I actually uploaded the Fields of Fire manuals.
Oh,
the manual to that. And honestly, it does, and then it actually references where it's at in the PDF as well. There's like 3 dots. If you click it, it actually finds where it is.
I think so. I think with the one that people are using, like us, the Notebook one, unlike Chat GDP and the others, the others tend to sort of embellish something if they can't find it. They'll make it up. So they
we know rulebooks don't have anything missing.
No, well they do, but I mean the note one it does that less. If it's not there, it won't do. There's a word for it. I can't remember the word. Hallucinations. It has less hallucinations. It won't make some stuff up. It will, but not as much as some of the other AI stuff.
Yeah. So let me ask. So this is to both of you, and Ruff, I'll start with you. Both of you are more tactical players. You prefer more tactical games. So I think from my experience of playing like all 3, strategic, operational, tactical, that learning each one is a different kettle of fish because you're putting your mind in a different frame. And so I'm curious, Ruff, what do you do when you get a brand new game and you don't know anything about it? And when you first get the box, right after you filmed the unboxing video and it's all done and you're ready to go, what do you do to start learning that game? If you were not going to video it, you were just going to play it by yourself.
Well, it depends. I mean, if it's something I've played, something like Hoplite, for instance, I've got a sort of idea how the rules work.
Okay.
But if it's this is a new series for me, the Congress of Vienna.
Mm-hmm.
The first thing I would do is try and read the rules, as is my wont. Take them to the land of Nod up the wooden hill and read them. But I have to, like Tony, I have to watch. I'm a visual learner as well, I think. So I will check to see if there's any videos on it. The problem is, of course, like all YouTubers, myself included, we don't get everything right all the time. So you may learn some bad habits. I'm lucky with my videos in so much that if I do something, the comments, they feel comfortable enough to comment and say, you know, oh, I think you got this wrong, Ruff, or blah, blah, blah. You forgot to do that, which is great. But when you watch a video, how many people actually read the comments to see?
Oh, I go right to it. I go right to it.
I know, I mean, I do. But do people, when they watch a video and take that as gospel, who don't read oh, you played this wrong, you played that wrong, you know? So
I thought you were going to say like exactly what Mike's in here.
Who has?
Mike. I thought that's what your answer was going to be. Don't
I
know.
haven't got any, Mike. I know you pretend to be one, and you two, but I haven't actually got any.
Just call Blue Tweezers, and he'll tell you.
No, see, he's clever. See, we'll play it live. I say live, and then he'll say, "Oh, by the way, you could have done that," as he annihilates my complete unit. You know.
So it's interesting in that you mentioned that because you're a visual learner, you go find a video. See, one of my, I guess, I don't know. If
hold on, sorry, it's Jester in the chat. It's Jester in the chat.
I didn't see him in the chat.
I didn't. Oh, because I can't see him. His comments.
He can't post it. Doesn't post. I gotta. Okay, let me go. I gotta find out.
Oh,
because
man.
if he's posted
through another name, yes, he was.
in the chat. Yep.
Oh man.
I don't see his comments for some reason.
No, it's not coming up. But when you go to the actual YouTube itself, it's on there.
I don't even get it on that. It's like I've banned him, but I haven't.
Oh yeah,
you can. And the funny thing is, you can't see him.
I can't see him,
but he's still posting. He's still posting there.
I can't see you, Jester. It's not that I'm ignoring you.
So anyway,
sorry, I just wanted to clear that up. I didn't want him to get the ump.
Something that, like, when I'm learning a game, like, I'm a visual learner too, and I tend not to, as much as, you know, I want to make YouTube videos, I want to be on YouTube, I like interacting with people who make videos on YouTube. I don't actually tend to watch YouTube videos to learn specifically war games, because war game learning videos tend to be very long, and that's just the nature of what they are. Like some, I'm not saying all, but some, you could get 90 minutes of rambling before they actually move anything on the board. And I don't want to sit through that and wait. So yeah, I mean, I'm not saying, I haven't said anything, said anyone is specifically, but it's like, I want to get straight to the game. You know what I mean? Like, I want to start playing immediately. I don't want to, 2-3 hours later, finally learn it. Like, you only get so much time in a day.
I mean, there was one. I mean, I don't think I do that. I mean, I have a bit of a waffle at the beginning to remind them what's going on. And say, okay, let's get going. But there was one chap who does long videos, and 50% of them is him just droning.
Yeah.
About nothing, about the game.
That's what people want to watch. Hey,
and people like just listen to somebody do that. I've nothing wrong with it.
No, but like, if I'm trying to learn something, I can't seem to differentiate. Like, I can't figure it out when it's in the midst of other things going on. So something that's more concise and more always on point. If there were some out there, there are some really good how to play videos.
He's terrible. He is. He's on you like a ton of bricks. So Mike is terrible.
But I will say so I tend not to pull up videos, but when I am learning a game, I'll go straight towards, I'll try to set up the first scenario, if I can, and go through. Thankfully,
yeah, I think Camp's the same. I'm not. I need to get a good thing behind me before I set it up. And too much to my chagrin, I don't tend to use examples of play very often. Maybe I should, but I tried them, and I can't do them at the beginning because they're just, I don't got a clue what they're talking about. So if me,
well, I mean,
then you do them at the end, and they still do stuff where they miss a lot of stuff out to condense this example of play into something that's only 6 pages long.
I mean, I appreciate, like in the Dark Summer here. I mean, when it's visual, it's detailed, it tells me what's going on, so I could kind of at least begin to concretely see certain concepts that the game has already in there. But I mean, I will say there is nothing wrong with just sitting there and reading the entire rule book, because I've known some people who have tried to learn bits and start playing, and then when they've actually gone to play someone else, they don't know certain other parts in the rule book, and they get beaten because they didn't bother to read the whole thing. So yeah. Tony, what about you with tactical games?
See, the problem with tactical games is there's two different things about tactical games. One is learning the rules, and then one is learning the game itself. Okay, sure. So one of the biggest issues is when you're trying to learn the game, you're trying to, like with tactical games, you're trying to learn the rules, and you actually can't learn the game until you actually learn the rules. When you can get through the rules without like really referencing them that much, you can start really getting into learning the game. It's what we always said, it's learn the game to learn the game.
Yeah.
So I think tactical, there's a lot more strategy involved because you have a lot more options. While you're talking about strategic or operational, you're talking about full armies.
Mm-hmm.
There's strategy, but it's not as detailed strategy, if you get what I'm saying.
Yep.
So it's like, okay, I'm going to move these armies here, and I'm going to attack this area of the line because it looks the weakest. That's about as strategic as you're going to get into some of the operational strategy games. I mean, there may be a little bit more, but I think that's about it. You know, you can kind of look, okay, maybe I can weaken this area because this area looks weak, so I can send my strength here. But it's not like, okay, I got to use this building because it blocks this hex, so I can get to this hex. And that's just one piece of one, like ATS, ASL, one squad. You're looking at one building to figure out if it's going to block your line of sight so you can get someplace else.
Right.
You know, but okay, well, how do I get to the other place? Are there other rules that I can use? Like in ASL, there's bypass movement where you can go around the hex on the hex side instead of actually going through the hex where it might stop. So
try it, Sunshine. Try it. And
yeah, that did not work so well for me. I will admit that. But you got to win initiative for that to work. That's why it didn't work.
But what you're saying is great. It's like our Panzer playthroughs for me is a great example of how to. I'm learning more about the game, continually playing it, than you would as a YouTuber. It's lots of games I can sort of play, but not play them very well. You know, not the tactics, not the ins and outs. Whereas, as Camp says, you know, it's repetition, playing the game, learning, and it also helps us. I know if you're on your Todd, you can't do this, which is why I recommend highly gearing up with people who, or pairing up with people who play games and maybe know the game better than you, because learning a game on your own, unless it's a solitaire game, can be pretty lonely.
That's why I have the subject titled the way it is.
Yeah.
That learning it by yourself. And a couple of people asked question. I do when I get a new game is I do read the designer's notes first because I want to understand sort of the intent and the idea behind things before I dive into the rule book.
When it comes to the designer notes, not to butt in, but I know you're going to go to a second point, so I want to get this one. Is I usually read them after I learn the game.
Yeah,
because
me
that's
too.
more of the strategy. Yeah. That gets more into the strategy than the actual of how to play. So I do it at the end.
Sure.
Or if they're in the middle, I don't mind them being actually in.
When you get bored of the rules, there's nothing better than flipping to the back and go, "Oh, let's have a read what he's on about."
Well, no, it's like if they're actually built into the rules, where it's like, okay, in a different color usually, or in a box, it says, "I did this because this is what happened." Then, I like that actually because that makes me put it together. But if I read the designer notes first, I'm like, well, I don't know what that is referencing to. But you know what I'm saying. Okay, continue on with your next point. Sorry.
Well, so someone mentioned this in the comment, and I was going to say I definitely agree in that I know I'm the type of wargamer. As much as I love all these big games, I'm very impatient in that I want to get, like someone mentioned, I want to get to the fun part, like right now.
Colin, I think, yeah.
And so spending time going through rule books and everything and just taking my time, I get I get very impatient in that, okay, when can I actually start, killing things and moving armies and, conquering things. And there have been times where I know that, like for instance, I'll give you an example, trying to learn something like this.
Oh, crikey.
I mean, it's massive. Okay. And you put it out and trying to figure this out. And I'm like, okay, rage quit. That's it. Put it away. I'm done. And then there are other times where I think there has to be, and depending on the game, I think there has to be a conscious decision to slow down. Well,
Nordic says,
I'm going to take my time and focus, and force myself to just sit and read. And I think it's part of just the way that life is. Like a lot of things are very instantaneous, instant gratification. That life moves very quickly, and I think that it's definitely a learning exercise to be patient and to exercise that part of ourselves that we might not use a lot. And
nothing wrong with that, Sean. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. And just to sit and I'm going, like, for instance, whenever I get into GTS, like it has a series rule book, but then it has the exclusive rules. And so I'll just take my time and just sit and go through the rule book. And I might not read every word.
Guy for you, if you're ever curious. He actually has a YouTube channel. It's Games from the Front. That's what he does. Games for the Front. And the guy's name's Ty. We were gonna do Utah in my April.
Yes, I've seen one of your live streams many moons ago. Yes.
Yeah. But he has to cancel, so I don't think we're gonna play it, unfortunately. We're gonna play the first full day, and I was gonna be the 82nd airport. So
nice.
Now the problem is with that, rushing through games is also, as you quite rightly say, it's a instant gratification world at the moment, microwaves and all that sort of thing. Also being
microwaves have been around for a while, by the way.
But you know what I mean? They're much more used nowadays with people's hectic lives.
They just invented the car.
Yeah. No, I'm saying stop trying. You sound like Mrs. Ruff now. Stop it. Now, and I've mentioned it before, and it's a hectic life. But being a YouTuber is sort of hectic because you need to get a game out, another one, game out, do another one. So you never learn the ins and outs of a game. It's because being a YouTuber, if I wasn't a YouTuber, I would do exactly what you're saying. I'd get a game and say, right, we're going to do Congress of Vienna for the next month. We're going to sit and learn that, and I'm going to enjoy it and get the ins and outs. And then when I get fed up with it, I'm going to clear it off and get another game and do the same. But as a YouTuber, you can't do that. It's
you
the
could.
thing of the new. You could, and there are people that do that.
Mm-hmm.
And and just concentrate, which is why I'm so grateful that the Panzer thing we're doing, and I hope when we've got every drop of that out, that we'll do it to another game. We'll just, which we'll thoroughly enjoy, because you enjoy it more once you're comfortable with a game and but you're learning new stuff. But the next time you play it, you've learned that, so you're comfortable with it. There's more enjoyment with knowing a game. And I know it's not much to do with the subject. That's why I say trying to learn a game by yourself can be a very, very lonely thing to do. And I suspect that if something goes wrong or you don't understand a paragraph, you're going to stop, put the game away, never to be seen again. So,
that has happened. If I can't understand what I'm seeing, and I might put it away and come back to it again later on with fresher eyes. I know one of the things that's been very helpful for me when I'm learning a game by myself is I set up a scenario, and then pull out the sequence of play and refer to the rules as I'm going down that sequence of play. And I may make mistakes, and that's fine. But I can connect with what's going on. So like I get to the movement phase. Okay, how do I move my units? And I go read a few paragraphs that tell me that, or a few pages or whatever. And then, okay, I'm going to move my units. And then the next sequence, okay, the combat. Okay, how do I do combat? And start to break it down. And that's where I think something with war games, some rule books can be so intimidating. Like, for instance, I'll give him credit.
I'll ask a question in a minute. I'll ask a question in a minute of you and you, Tony, in a minute once you finish. Yeah,
but it can be quite intimidating when you see like a whole rule book. This is the Knock Paris one of just having. It's very well laid out, lots of great images and things like that. But there's a lot of information.
Wouldn't recommend it to a newbie.
Intimidating.
Yeah.
What's that?
I wouldn't recommend it to a newbie.
I don't know.
I wouldn't. Think back. Most of it is in the units are in the language of either the Germans or the French. So unless you have a sort of passable thingy about French and German, you can look them up at the back. I wouldn't recommend it. It's
sure.
If you're learning that on your own as a new my question.
Sure.
Because I've been asked, there's been some comments when we put this up on the few places I've been putting this up at. Is that, I'm glad because I'm a new war gamer. So I want to know how to learn a game on my own because I haven't got the contacts, I haven't got the other people to play. So what would be your recommendations for especially new boys and girls into the hobby? They've got the rule book, they're sitting there on their own. What do you reckon?
Well, so I'll answer, then I'll go to Tony, and then we'll come back to you, okay?
Yeah.
Mine is going to be that, like I was mentioning just a little bit ago, that I think set up the game, set up a game, a scenario or whatever. If there's an example of play, go through that. But I think if there's not, then go through the sequence of play and refer to the rule book as you're going through the sequence of play, and break that rule book down, especially if it is a big rule book, because like I was saying, some games, they're so intimidating. It's like, well, where do I even start? And so you need to break it down into something that's more digestible. And even if in a single sitting that you only go through one aspect of the sequence of play, that's fine. As long as you understand that and you know what's going on, and as you're reading that rule book and going through, that's okay. You can leave it, come back later, and then go to the next step. And then once you work your way through all the way the whole sequence, and start again, and it might go quicker and quicker as you remember the rules. Tony?
Okay, repeat the question for me again, Ruff.
I'm just saying that we had a lot of comments about, I'm looking forward to this subject because I'm a new war gamer, and like to know how you would go about as a newbie. I'm not like, don't like that term, but for want of a better one, how I would go about learning. I'm new to the hobby, new to wargaming. What's tips, hints, and thingies? Yes.
Don't start. It's going to suck the money out of you.
Wise words indeed. Wise words.
No, honestly, find a topic you like first and foremost. Okay, you will have so much more fun if it's a topic you are interested in and you're really, really, really like, because you will put up with all the crap that you have to put up with learning the game because you want to learn it because you're interested in the topic.
Yep.
If you don't like World War II, don't get a World War II game.
Well, that's daft, isn't it? That's daft.
I know, right? Everybody likes World War II games, so yeah, I know.
But suppose that let's say they do have a topic that they like, and they have the game that they're interested in.
Then I would definitely as Mr. Historic Wings writes them. See, I can't speak. Anyways, so I guess the biggest thing is to just get the damn thing out and start putting some counters down. You don't even have to set up a scenario. Okay, I got to move. How do I move? Okay, that's the movement pieces. Okay. Oh, okay. Just do it. You don't have to even do a full scenario. You don't have to do anything like that. Just put some counters down. Also find the counters. Look at usually there's a key. Memorize that. If you can memorize that, that's one less thing you have to worry about. Okay, is it combat, defense, movement, or is it defense, movement, or is it combat, movement? What's these 3 dots for? Is this how many steps? Really understand the units, because then that's one less thing you have to look up. I always hate when I play in a game that I haven't played for a while and I'm like, oh crap, what's that again? And I have to look up the counters. And it's something as simple as that.
Or stacking rules.
Yes. Stacking is like one of those, as an experienced wargamer, that's the first thing I look at, is because it's usually one of the first rules.
Yeah.
Is stacking. Okay, how many units can I put in? Oh, I can only put 2 units in, or 2 steps, or 2 worth of steps. Okay, well, at least I know that. So when I get to that part, I understand. So stacking is important. It's right in the beginning. I do like what Historic Wings, what Thomas said. Read the first couple pages of the rules. Like, I usually skip them because that's where, okay, this is this unit, this is what this means. It's usually the stuff that as wargamers, as somebody that you've played a while, you recognize it. So, and yes, read out loud very slowly if you can do that.
There is something as teachers, we do know that if, like, for people to read out loud, hearing it audibly, but also seeing the words activates more learning capabilities for you.
And if you read it slowly, you're not going to insert words that are not there.
Right.
Because your brain likes to do that. When I tell my kids you need to edit your papers, they're like, well, what do I do? Read it out loud slowly. And if it doesn't make sense, fix it.
Yeah.
But if you read it in your head, your brain is automatically going to put words in that aren't there. And so that was when I started editing my papers, I just would sit there and read slowly. I looked like a moron, but it helped immensely. So, but if you read the first couple pages, I think that gives you a good idea of the game, kind of like the bits and pieces of it, the actual physical components. I was thinking of components, like bits and pieces.
Sure.
If you understand the components, maps, counters, and stuff like that, it'll help when they're referring to movement values, because then they're like MV. Well, what the hell's MV? Oh, movement value,
right? Or
MP, movement points.
Yep.
And
that's something where Dragon X had mentioned a comment earlier that Ruff, that you put up, that unfortunately the barrier to learning in wargaming is, depending on the game, is quite high. And some of that comes down to that, like you mentioned, that if they're using terms that
it's the terms
people know, but other people don't, right? And or terms that are interchangeably used for the same thing. It's not consistent. There's not one term that's used consistently throughout the entire rule book. Who you're talking. Ruff, what about you?
Well, it's things like my mentality about playing as a YouTuber has started to change to try and get more out of it. I'm not going to be churning out stuff. And I know at the moment I'm not shouting out anything, so don't make any snide comments, you two. But yes. Going forward, what I tend to do when I learn a new game is that's why I like my unboxings, because if you get a new game, unbox it. Don't just punch the counters out. Look at the counters. Keep them unpunched. Look through the rules and think, that's what that. Let's find that picture of. Oh, I see. So as you said, that's movement. That's defense, and that's right. That's attack value.
That's a great, because there's been some times I punched them all out, and it's like, why did I do that?
Yeah, don't punch them out. Look at them, because they're easy to look at in the sprue. Look at them front and back. Get familiar with the admin counters. So you see, once you see something, it's like being, as you say, I'm a tutor rather than a teacher. I'm a tutor, but when somebody learns a new subject for the first time, even though you're going over it and 90% of it is going out the back of their head, 10% stays in. And so when it's mentioned again, that might be a bit of the 10% you remember. So it makes the next bit easier to understand. So now you're up to 20% remembering. So look through your box before you start putting it away, clipping it, sticking it in boxes. Look through the rules. The other thing I do is use these.
Oh, okay.
As I'm reading the rules, I think, oh, that sounds an important thing. I make a note of it.
Nice.
Blah, 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 blah.
These work too, Ruff.
Yeah, no, I don't like. Don't you touch my rule book? Get away with your Chizo and your highlighters.
Well,
get out of
it. And that's Nate when he comes to real books. He doesn't outline or do anything.
No, I don't. No, I don't write in the margins. No. If you want to do that, good. But this is a separate thing that you keep in the box, and I get out and I do it for all my games. So when I play a game, it's there. They're highlighting the rules that I think, oh, that sounds important. So I'll put that down. Doesn't matter if you have 6 of these, because as you get to know the game, that goes to, I can forget, I remember that now. So geez, no. But
this one, actually, funny thing is, so outlined. I write in my books.
No, that's fine. Man. But if you're using it for a course that you need to remember stuff, then I can understand.
Very good book, by the way. Very, very good. This is my post.
Did I interrupt you when I was on?
Yes, you did, but that's beside the point. No, but very good book. So, post World War II Europe, great book.
Nice.
Okay, sorry.
So anyway, that's what I use.
No cards, Ruff. No cards. I've done it too, Ruff. By the way, I've done it too. I've done it.
I'm joking, but that's what I use. I find it very helpful when you start to read through the rule book. Oh, that sounds important. I'm going to make a note of that. And like Nate said, don't try and read the whole book and then play the game.
Yeah,
take your time. It's not a competition, so read the first section. Because otherwise, if you start reading a rule book and it's 30, 40 pages, after about 10 pages, you're starting to nod off. You're not reading, but you're not taking it in. So read the first maybe 5 pages of a rule book and go, right, okay, and put that down. And what I do is, because there's short-term and long-term memory, what happens is, the stuff you're reading and taking in goes into your short-term memory, and it lasts half an hour or so, and you start to forget it, if that. So what I tend to do is read my 5 pages, go and put the kettle on, make a cup of tea, sit down with my cup of tea, and try to remember what I've just read. Because if you do that, you drag it from your short-term memory into your long-term memory.
That was the recall that I was talking. Yeah,
forever. What's that?
100% Ruff. That was the recall I was talking about.
Yeah.
In that book, that's what they're talking about. Read it, step away, come back, because that will stick in your long-term memory.
And just try and pull it out of your short-term memory. If you've read 20, 30 pages, you're not going to be able to do that. Yep. But if you've read 5 pages and it's going on about maybe stacking or about the units or whatever, the introductory thing, that's in there, yeah? And once you you have to drag it out. You sit and look out the window and drag out what you've just read.
Yep.
After you go and have a break for 5-10 minutes.
Yep.
And that's how I'm going to be doing it. That's how I teach my students anyway.
Right.
So and that's where time to get through the book. And with these, putting down anything that's of note that it might not be important, but if you think, oh, that sounds important, make a note of it. The other thing is, if you write something down, you're going to remember it more than if you were told it or read it.
Sure.
Friction.
Yes.
That's the whole part of the friction.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which is when I used to teach in classrooms, what they do now in classrooms over here, they say, open the book, read it, or here's a handout. That's what I'm talking about. I never did that. They said, oh, you got any handouts? I said, no, take your own notes, because you write in the language you understand. So when you read back your notes rather than my notes, you'll remember exactly what you're on about.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I think above all, because war games, some, not all, but some war games are very complex, that it is important that when you get that game, that you need to set yourself in a mindset that I'm going to be patient and I'm going to work my way through this, and lock and load, everybody.
Lock and load.
He's in the chat. He's in the chat.
Lock and load.
Hey, David. Happy birthday, by the way, David.
Sure, David. But I've had notification that something from you guys might be turning up to my house on Monday, so I'm looking forward to that. Lock and load.
And he just turned 60. I saw he had a birthday.
Oh, happy birthday!
Yep, good. Happy birthday, David.
Snapper.
Yeah.
Anyway,
but yeah, I mean, like,
that's what I'm looking forward to. This, I'm going to take my time with it. That's why it's not going to be on the channel, because it may be in the future, but yeah, take your time, make your notes, drag what you've read. Don't take too much information in, and drag what you've just read into your long-term memory. You know, it might take you a month to read the rule book.
Yeah.
Who cares? It's not a competition.
There can be a sort of unseen pressure, especially if you look at all like YouTube and social media, of the number of people who are sharing that I'm playing this and I'm playing that, whatever. And there's can be like an unseen pressure on ourselves to, I need to get to play this game right now.
As a YouTuber, there's more pressure. And you think, no, hold on. When I put a video out, I'm going to put a best I can video out. So yeah.
Yep.
I'm not going to do like I used to when I first started, 3 or 4 videos a week, you know, and it was crazy.
Right.
Yeah, I'm thinking, no, let's enjoy the games. I've got enough of them. They've cost me enough money. Let's enjoy the blooming things, you know.
Well, gentlemen, it is 2 hours have gone by.
Yeah. Good grief.
Yeah. It's crazy. So as we wrap up, we wanted to say first, thank you to Tony.
Yes, thanks, Tony,
for joining us today.
Always, if I have time, I always love to jump on if you guys need me. It's always fun to kind of get back at this. I think this conversation could have gone on for another hour. I think Ruff has been reading all the stuff I've been reading about learning and the science of learning. Like literally everything he said I was going to talk about, but he took it from me. So good job.
Yeah, no,
it's amazing, and I think you're agreeing with us, Nate. As educated, as the 3 of us being educators, we kind of have a different view on this than a lot of people, because we can see it. We know how people learn. So I think it's interesting. We have a different view on it, and it's 1 a.m.
Yeah.
Well, we do want to say thank you to everybody, and for those who are early in the morning, thank you for
really got up to 100 viewers.
Great.
Oh,
it's
brilliant.
Great.
Absolutely wonderful. So thank you, everyone.
Gentlemen,
somebody has done a down thumb, so thank you for that. Seriously.
Well, gentlemen, what is coming up on your channels? Tony, what's coming up on yours?
More of 8th Air Force, and hopefully Friday I will continue our Panzer. As far as I know, I think that'll be good. I don't think anything's going to pop up, but God knows what happens in my life.
Yeah, but that's fine. Just let me and Camp know, and no probs. We understand.
And I appreciate Camp jumping on our Fridays. He's been a great help and a lot of fun to have on.
Brilliant.
Yeah,
Ruff, and he's going to try and get me into some ACW nonsense as well.
Ruff, what's coming up on your channel?
Lots of unboxings.
Okay.
If I can get those out, hopefully later on in the week I can start recording The Skies Above Britain. I'm desperate to finish it. I'm enjoying it, but I'm desperate to get it finished, put it to bed, and then get on with something else. I'm looking at Cruel Necessity, looking at SOE Lysander, Wolfpack, Glorious Chance. You know, there's just so many. I've got a good little list here that I'm looking forward to. Oh, did you get your little errata counters?
Nope, not yet. Not yet.
Well,
a lot of games I haven't got. But anyway,
so Nate, are you going to be putting anything on your channel?
Yes. What are you up to, Nate?
Yeah. So yesterday was the first episode of the podcast. Again, we relaunched it. The second episode will come out in 2 Fridays. Every other Friday, it'll be coming out. So, but then I actually am working on currently filming a how to play for a war game myself, and I want it to be short and to the point. And so hopefully I'd like to get it in less than 30 minutes. 20 minutes would be my hope, but we shall see, as they say. And but yes, so I'm busy working on stuff behind the scenes for that. I can't say that. I mean, what game? I don't know. What? It's I know it's going to be. It's going to be World in Flames, and I'm going to do the whole thing in 20 minutes.
Oh God!
No.
That's a good one.
The first game I'm going to do is
I watch that at least every 6 months, Colin.
The first game I'm going to do, try to do a learn to play, is the Russian campaign from Compass. It's only 8 pages of rules.
Not the GMT version, which I have sitting down there. No.
Well, a certain so-and-so won't sell it to me yet, so I have to do what I got, you know. So, oh man, yes, I am clipping it. I am clipping it.
Wow!
Look at that. Thank you.
What is that about 6? What is that about 6 pounds?
Don't. It's about $25. All right.
All right. Well, we want to say.
I know that's not true, but anyway,
we are way over.
Thank
so
you,
we want
to. I got to get going. So
we want to say goodbye to everybody, and thank you so much for joining us. And
again,
next week we'll be on Jester's channel, correct?
Yes, as far as I know, he's back. Mind you, he's supposed to be with his daughter today, but according to everybody else, I can't see him. I don't know why, but he's been in the chat most of the night. So
he's probably on the beach on the chat, is what it was.
Yeah. Right. Oh, lucky him. Lucky him. Anyway, back on Jester's channel for next week. Thank you ever so much, everybody. Thanks, Nate, for hosting. Thanks, Tony, for coming. Thanks for nearly 100 people watching this nonsense. We love you all. And there's nothing you can do about it. And once again, thanks, guys. Thanks, chat. We'll see you all next week. Take care.
Catch you later, everybody.